Two men, one obsession, dinosaurs. But what started as a shared passion turned into a vicious rivalry that would rewrite history. Bribes, sabotage, stolen fossils, and public humiliation. This wasn't just about science, it was personal. In the late 1800s, Othniel Charles Marsh and Edward Drinker Cope turned the hunt for dinosaurs into a full-blown war. What happens when two brilliant minds stop at nothing to outdo each other? You're about to find out. And spoiler alert, the drama gets wilder than a Jurassic Park movie. Let's dig into one of the most cutthroat rivalries science has ever seen. Imagine two brilliant scientists so obsessed with dinosaurs that their rivalry turned into one of the most bizarre and bitter feuds in history. Lies, sabotage, even grave robbing. This wasn't just about fossils, it was about crushing the competition. Today we're diving into the jaw-dropping story of Othniel Charles Marsh and Edward Drinker Cope, two men who made history by tearing each other apart. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one. Let's set the stage. It's the late 1800s in America, a time when paleontology, or the study of ancient life, was just starting to explode. Dinosaur bones were being discovered, and scientists were racing to understand these long-extinct giants. Enter Marsh and Cope, two men who seemed destined to become enemies. Marsh was the more calculating type, a Yale professor with a knack for strategy and plenty of funding. Cope, on the other hand, was a self-taught genius who was more impulsive and quick-tempered. Think of them as the Sherlock Holmes and Moriarty of dinosaur hunting, but with way more dirt and dynamite. Their rivalry officially began in the early 1870s during a dig in New Jersey. Cope had unearthed a massive fossil, which he believed to be a new species of marine reptile. Excited, he published his findings and proudly reconstructed the creature. But there was one big problem. He'd accidentally placed the skull on the wrong end of the skeleton. Marsh saw this mistake and pounced. Not only did he publicly humiliate Cope by pointing out the error, but he also bought the quarry where Cope had been digging, just to block him from finding more fossils there. Talk about petty. From that moment on, the two men were locked in what became known as the Bone Wars. They raced to outdiscover, outpublish, and outshine each other. The lengths they went to were absolutely wild. Marsh would bribe workers at Cope's dig sites to give him fossils. Cope, in turn, accused Marsh of stealing credit for discoveries. Both men blew through their fortunes, hiring teams to scour the American West for new finds. If you've ever seen those iconic Wild West landscapes, just imagine them crawling with fossil hunters in dusty boots, hauling dinosaur bones out of the ground like buried treasure. Over the course of their feud, the numbers were staggering. Cope discovered and named around 80 new species of dinosaurs, while Marsh found over 25, including some of the most famous ones we know today, like Triceratops and Stegosaurus. But here's a lesser-known fact. In their desperation to one-up each other, both men rushed their discoveries, which led to mistakes. Some of the new species they claimed turned out to be duplicates, or even mismatched bones from different animals. Marsh, for instance, once put together the Apatosaurus skeleton without realizing it was the same dinosaur as a specimen Cope had named Brontosaurus. By the late 1880s, their rivalry had taken its toll. Cope, who had spent every penny he had on digs, was forced to sell his fossil collection. Marsh, though initially more successful, was also running out of funds and faced criticism for his own errors. Both men left behind a trail of ruined reputations and financial ruin. But here's the twist. Despite the chaos, their rivalry was a huge win for science. Between them, they unearthed over 130 new species of dinosaurs and helped ignite the public's fascination with paleontology. Their work laid the foundation for much of what we know about dinosaurs today. So were they heroes or villains? It's complicated. Marsh and Cope's feud was messy and full of mistakes, but without their passion, and let's be honest, their stubbornness, we might not have the same understanding of the prehistoric world. Sometimes even the most bitter rivalries can push humanity forward. If you found this story as wild as I did, hit that like button and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more jaw-dropping tales from history. You never know what kind of fascinating battles or dinosaurs we'll dig up next. See you in the next video.